Hello students, how are you all? Hope you all are fine. So today we are going to begin with our next topic 3.3, a crow in the house. A crow in the house? Yes. Kindly read your textbook, page number 64. Children, if you observe, can you identify which kind of the bird it is? Yes, it is a pet bird which you all love to keep at home. Yes or not? Even some of the birds are also kept in the cage as a pet birds. But can you just imagine that a crow being kept as a home as a pet bird? Have you ever seen anyone keeping crow as a pet bird? So yes, our story is related to this bird, a crow, by Ruskin Bond. In the lesson, he discusses a pet crow and its behavior, and how, although on one hand he is considered to be a pet by the author and his grandfather, on the other hand, the same crow is considered as a pest by the author's grandmother. So let us see what the author has got in store for us in the story. Now, A Crow in the House by Ruskin Bond. This story revolves around the love for nature, and we see that the narrator and his grandfather saving a crow from dying and bringing it home. The same crow named Zer later on became a cause for concern due to its behavior, and sometimes it turns the house into mess by fidgeting with the things, and at the other times it troubles the other pets of the grandfather, example the hornbill. Now see, everyone being a human, our nature is that we have a compassion, we have empathy for others, and we really love nature, and we are very caring also. So in this chapter, the author and the grandfather, they both love to keep the pet, but this crow, he was not liked by the grandmother. Now why he was not liked, we'll come to know later part as we go on with the reading and the explaining part. Though in the beginning the author had helped the crow and then he saved their life, but then afterwards how his behavior suddenly changed and it became a cause of concern and a mess for everyone in the house, because everyone was very irritated and was fed up of the behavior. So let us begin. Page 64, your textbook. A Crow in the House. The young crow had fallen from its nest and was fluttering about on the road, as you can see in the picture, in danger of being crushed by the cart or a tonga or seized by a cat. That means if the author had not saved the life of the bird, that is the crow, it would have been crushed by some cart passing by, or by tonga. Tonga is being a cart driven by horses, or seized by a cat. Cat might have eaten it up. When I picked it up, now here they are mentioning I is the author himself. When I picked it up and brought it home, it was in a sorry condition. Sorry condition. Now sorry condition means, that means you feel very bad for him. Might be he was if not taken care, he could have died also. He was in very pity condition, sorry condition. Beak gaping and head drooping. That means he was very weak. Even he was not able to open his beak also, and even his head was drooping down. That means he did not even had that strength so that he could keep his neck up or head up. And we did not expect it to live. That means there were very less chance of the crow to survive. But grandfather and I did our best to bring it round. That means the grandfather and the author tried to bring the best, that means try to save the life of the crow. We fed it by prising its beak gently. Now prising means what? With a force when you try to move apart the beak so that something could be fed in the beak. So prising its beak gently open with a pencil. So that means the crow was so weak that he could not open the beak also for the food, and then the author and the grandfather, they have to what? They have to put in, and they have to open it with a pencil and then put something that is food for the pet, that is the crow. Pushing in a little bread and a milk. Now what they used to feed the bread and a milk, and then removing the pencil to allow it to swallow. We varied. Now afterwards what they did, we varied this diet with the occasional doses of the grandmother's homemade plum wine, and as a result the young crow was soon on the road to recovery. That means not only they gave them the bread and the milk, but also whatever grandmother made, the healthy diet, that is the plum wine, even that was also given to the crow so that he could recover very, very early or as early as possible. That means he could recover to the normal state of the health. He was offered his freedom, but he did not take it. He was offered the freedom. That means what? Offering freedom, that he was given full freedom, but he did not take it. Instead, he made himself at home in the house. That means when the crow recovered, he was allowed to go away or leave the home or fly away, but he did not left the home. Grandmother, Aunt Mabel, and even some of the grandfather's pets objected. In this paragraph, we understand that who are the characters were, that is the author, and then the grandfather and the grandmother. Aunt Mabel was also there, and even there were the pets of the grandfather. So in the home, except the author and the grandfather, grandmother, Aunt Mabel, and the grandfather's pets also objected because they did not like him. But there was no way of getting rid of the bird. But there was no way to get rid of the bird because the bird did not want to fly away. He wanted to stay there only. He took over the administration of the house. Now, taking away administration of the house means what? Taking away administration means to have a control over the things. See, whenever there are certain things which are under our control, that means we are administering them. But there are certain things which we cannot administer because they are not under our control. But what was he? He had taken everything under his control. We were not sure that he was a male, but we call him Zar. Now here we find that how his behavior was, and even the author did not realize that whether he was a male or female. Before long, Zar was joining us at a meal time. Now, as everybody had dinner or lunch, similarly he also came at that particular time. Besides finding his own grubs. Grubs means what? Grubs means a larva of insects, especially a beetle, because crows love to eat that. So the grubs was being kept for the crow, that is the larva of the insect. Okay, or beetles in the garden, and he danced about on the dining table. So how his behavior was? He could not patiently sit at one place, but he danced around on the dining table, and and then gave us no peace until he had been given his. That means what? Until and unless he was being served first, he was at no pace and he disturbed everybody. See how his behavior was. He had been given a small bowl of meat and soup and vegetables. What was being served for him? Small bowl of meat, soup and vegetables. He was always restless. How was he? He was always restless. That means he cannot sit at one place. And was fidgeting. That fidgeting means what? When constantly you go on making movements of the hands and feet, that is only fidgeting. So here in this case we have the crow who is always moving here and there. His hands are moving, his feathers are moving. So that means he's very restless, impatient. And he was fidgeting about investing things. He would hop across the table to empty a matchbox of the content. See how his behavior turned. He would hop across the table and then he would empty a matchbox of the content or rip the daily paper to shred. Rip means what? Tear it or pull it. Tear it, or rip the daily paper to shreds. Shreds means what? Small strips of the paper that are useless. Or overturn a vase of flowers. Or tug at the tail of one of the dogs. Now see how his behavior was. He used to pull also the tail of a dog or to overturn the vase of the flowers. That means his behavior was not been acceptable. That crow will be the ruin of us, grumbled grandmother. Now ruin of us, grumbling. Now see, when the person destroys everything, so that means when the grandmother saw the behavior, she told that the crow will what? The crow is going to destroy everything. And grumbling means what? When somebody complains, when somebody is annoyed of the behavior. So here the grandmother was very grumbled and then picking marigolds off the carpet, because again and again he used to turn the flower was here and there, and so the grandmother had to pick up the marigolds from the carpet. Can't you keep him in a cage? So the complaint of the grandmother was, instead of he moving here and there, the crow moving here and there, why cannot we keep him in a cage? We tried keeping Caesar in cage, but he was so angry. Now here everybody wanted to get what? That he should be at least quiet and be at least at peace. But the crow, he was always restless, visiting here and there, and then ruining the life of others. So the grandmother once suggested that why don't you keep him in the cage? But when they tried, we tried means what? That means here it is the grandfather and the author. So when they tried to keep the Caesar in the cage, but he was so angry and objected with such a fierce cawing. At that time he did not accept it that he should be kept in the cage. So he objected with such a fierce means very, very becoming violent or becoming aggressive cawing. That means when a crow makes the noise, that is known as cawing. And flapping, when the wings are being flapped and fluttered, you can hear a noise. That it was better for our nerves and peace of mind to give him the run of the house. That means when they tried to keep him in the cage, how the reaction was that he was so angry that he kept on constantly cawing, that is making noise, that also very violent noise, and then flapping very badly in the cage. And so instead of hearing that noise for the whole day, so for the patients and the peace of the house, it was better for them to give him the run of the house. That means let him move here and there. He did not show any inclination to join other crows in the banyan tree. That means around the house there was a banyan tree and there were many other crows also, but this crow did not want to join the other crows. Inclination means what? His intention was not to join them because he felt that he was very special. He was not like any other crow. Grandfather said no, that this was because he was really a jungle crow. Grandfather ultimately he gave the answer. Why did not he want to join them? Because he was really a jungle crow, a raven of sorts, and probably felt a little contemptuous of every very ordinary carrion crows. That means here how he was really a jungle crow who did not want to get involved with the other crows, and he felt that he was very special kind and he was not one of them, and then he was not like the other crows. Okay. uh, and he also felt that he was a little he was very ordinary crow, and he was to the ordinary crows means what? Carrion crows means that the crows that are being uh, feeding on the garbage or feeding on the dead and the decaying flesh. But it seems to me that the having grown used to a living with the humans on an equal terms had become snobbish and did not wish to mix with his own kind. Now, snobbish means what? He used to consider himself very, very superior than others. He did not want to join because he did not have any regard for those crows, and he used to think that he is much, much better or superior than others. So snobbish means superior than others. As a human tendency is that now that a person feels that I'm better than him, or I'm better than others, I'm the best. So similarly, the author has compared that as he was living with the humans, and so he started thinking that yes, here also that the crow has become snobbish. That means his thinking had changed like humans, and he used to think that I'm superior than the other crows, and so he did not wish to mix with his own kind. He would even squabble. Now, squabble means what? Now, many a times when you quarrel, and you make noise over small, small matters, that means that is the squabble. So he would even squabble with Harold and Hornbill. Now he is here the crow. The crow would even make small quarrels with Harold and Hornbill. Now who are they? Harold and Hornbill, they are the pets of the grandfather and grandmother, perching on the top of the Harold's cage, and he would peck at the big bird's feet, whereupon Harold will swear and scold him and try to get the scissors through the bars. So these both are inside, and they would try to catch him because he was creating nuisance for them, and he would peck at the big bird's feet. Peck means what? To bite with the beak. That is known as a peck. So they were what they doing? He was pecking, he was biting with the beak, and he was irritating them. So he was really, really a nuisance for the whole family. So I hope that you all have understood this part of the chapter very well, and then we'll continue the rest part in the next class. Hope you all have understood. Thank you, children. And if you like my educational video, kindly like it and subscribe it. Thank you once again. God bless you all.